Hi guys, it's a lovely sunny day here at Cannon Hall Farm and I am outside with our troop of meerkats. So it's very early in the morning and it's time for their breakfast. So I think they're ready, they're hanging around so they know what time it is. So they've got some very tasty Morio worms and mealworms, and this is an extra special treat for them because they find these extra yummy. Our meerkats here do have a diet of predominantly insects, so that's things like mealworms and Morio worms that we've got here. They also eat locusts, crickets and other types of insects. They have little bits of meat as well, like little bit pieces of chicken, and they really like hard-boiled eggs. That's an extra special treat, but it is important that they get some fruits and vegetables into their diet. So less often than we would feed them their insects, but they do like fruits, especially like grapes and blueberries as a treat. And it is important they eat their vegetables as well, like sweet potato, greens, sweet peas, all sorts of things. They are less keen on the vegetables, a little bit like looking after children, but it's important they have them in the diet. Morning guys, are you ready for breakfast? Are we hungry? Come on, get some as well. They're very much enjoying their breakfast this morning. So like I said, these worms are a very special treat for them because they are quite high in fat, so they only get them once a week, but they really enjoy it. We do have one dominant female meerkat in this group called Georgina, and she's definitely the boss. So the whole group has to do what she wants to basically. So she gets the first dibs at any food, she gets the comfiest spot when she wants to go to sleep, and all the others, they basically have to go on lookout duty and make sure there's no predators, but she always gets out of that. It's a really sunny day today, so these meerkats, they absolutely thrive in these conditions. So they're going to be out here all day, probably either stood up sunbathing, standing up, or they're more likely later on this afternoon when it gets really hot is Anna. They're going to be laid out on the ground, just sunbathing all as a group, and that's when they're living life, aren't you? They've definitely got their own personality. So like I said, Georgina is definitely the boss, and Ringo, her partner, our dominant male. Although he's referred to as the dominant male in this group, he's got a very chilled out attitude to life, so he doesn't really do much to discipline the children. That's all Georgina's work. In this group here, they've got 6 children. Now we have moved some meerkats to other collections. There you are. Just because we don't want this group getting overly big, and you can have sometimes problems of meerkats biting if the group dynamics aren't quite right. So we've got a very happy group of 8 here, and maybe in the future they'll have another set of kits, that's what you call meerkat young, kits or pups. Although they look quite friendly, so they're very happy to be around me, run around my feet, and they'll even climb on top of me sometimes. They're not, we have to remember, they're not pets, so they don't actually like being stroked by us. Even though it might look like they're cute and cuddly sometimes, like if I was to put my hands quite near them, they might mistake that for some very tasty worms, which I'd rather not do. But like you see here, they're very personable and they're quite happy for us to come in, feed them and do all of our enclosure maintenance, and they're just curious more than anything, but I wouldn't say they're affectionate animals. So I think it's time for me to get myself some breakfast. So I hope you enjoyed seeing these meerkats having their food. I think it's a little bit different than the farm animals we usually feature. So if you've enjoyed seeing our meerkats, give us a like and a share, and we'll see you later.